A very good afternoon to all participants. Welcome back to this session on Introduction to Latex. This session will be taken by Dr. Dishant Pandya from Pandit Deenayal University. Before I give this session to him, I would like to give a brief introduction of the speaker for this session. Dr. Dishant Pandya is working as an assistant professor in Pandit Deenayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar. He possessed a strong academic background by completing BSc Mathematics, first class with distinction, gold medal, MSc Applied Mathematics, first class with distinction, and MPhil, first class with specialization in General Theory of Relativity from Sardar Patel University, Vallabh Vidyanagar. He has carried 13 years of experience consisting of 10 years of teaching undergraduate in engineering and pharmacy disciplines and postgraduate MCA students, and 3 years in diamond industry where he worked as a senior scientist for product development and made many 2D and 3D algorithms to work on a 3D geometry of a diamond. He also made an algorithm to obtain best value of a polished diamond from a rough diamond. He also collaborated his research work with one of the world's renowned Belgian company called Genicap, which is working on real-world three-dimensional geometrical problems. He also worked in 3D marking machines, laser-based medical instruments, hallmarking machines, etc. Prior to joining PDPU Gandhinagar, he was working as an assistant professor and the head for the Department of Mathematics and Humanities from Gandhinagar Institute of Technology. He has more than 3 years of industrial research experience and 5 years of academic research experience in the field of general theory of relativity, during which he published 8 peer-reviewed international research papers and 1 national research paper. He attended and presented his work in plethora of international national conferences and also attended workshops and symposia. His areas of interest include constructing a new model to generate anisotropic solutions, which are exact also for the Einstein's field equations, to study the charged anisotropic models with different equation of states and geometrically significant space-time metrics like pseudo-spheroidal and paraboidal space-time. Sir, we are very much glad to have you, sir. It's over to you.
Thank you so much for a nice introduction, Daniel, sir. And very good afternoon to all the participants. I wish that I could have met all you offline, but due to this restriction, as we all know, we are meeting today online. So let's begin with our session, as the title is Introduction to LaTeX. So what do we mean by this thing, LaTeX? Why we require LaTeX? The reason behind this is that when we are working with normal Word file, at that time, every kind of formatting we need to take care of. For example, the title has some structure, some kind of special fonts, and the font size as well. Similarly, for example, if you want to write author's name or maybe institution's name, then this kind of thing has some specification. And you need to justify all these specifications while communicating with the journal, or maybe if you want to publish your book as well, then there is some standard format available by the publishers. Now, what happens is basically we all are not having that kind of capability that we can use. We can create our own elegant template, which is exactly similar to those kind of journals or publications. So basically, they are providing us that this is the template which you need to follow. For example, Word template or maybe LaTeX template. And once they are giving us template, at that time, they are also giving some supporting structures as well. And that will be very helpful to us when we are creating document. Usually speaking, when you are working with LaTeX, you need to cope up with content and you don't need to worry about the formatting. Whereas in the case of Word, it's quite contradictory that you need to think of your content as well as the formatting, because by chance or by mistake, if you have done something wrong with your formatting, then it may be troublesome for everyone, for publishers as well, or if they give you written, then you need to reformat the thing, and it's really a time consuming thing. So when it comes to such kind of thing, and some etiquettes for publications, at that time, you must have knowledge about LaTeX. So that is the idea behind our session. So without further ado, let's begin with our session. I'm sharing my screen with you. My screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope now you are seeing the full screen.
Yes, we are seeing the full screen, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's begin with first of all, how to pronounce this. So basically, according to our spelling, what we normally do is latex or latex, but it's not the correct pronunciation. So first of all, we should learn that how to pronounce this thing. You should speak latex or latex. Okay. So as highlighted here, you need to go with such kind of pronunciations while working with latex. It's a tool obviously for creating professional looking documents. And basically the purpose of this is what you see is what you mean. That means whatever you want to present, that you can present, and rest of the thing will be taken care of by the typesetting system that is called LaTeX. So let's see that as organizer told you in your groups as well, that we have two options to go with LaTeX. One is online, that is called Overleaf, and another is offline, that is we will be using with Text Studio. So the first thing is, once you go with Overleaf package, for example, if I go with this, those who have not created, then you will see such kind of labeling here. And if you have registered here, then you can directly log in. Okay. So once you log in here, and you will see that there are a lot of things that you can directly go with. Okay. Let me just mention it here. Can you see my browser screen as well?
No, sir.
Okay. Fine. Just a minute. Give me a moment. I'm sharing the screen. Okay, right. So now you have, now you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see that once you log in into your Overleaf, you will see on left hand side some menu bar and some tabs. Okay. You can go with new project and go with blank project. You can give a title, say trial 2, and it will create a window with your first project. Okay. I would request all the participants, those who have gone with Overleaf, they can start with me in the same way. Go with blank project, give your project's name, and then proceed further. You will see such kind of screen. First of all, let me explain a bit about this Overleaf ways, and then we will go with Text Studio as well. So the first thing here you notice is that there are few lines, and apparently it is nothing but some coding language. Those who are familiar with coding, okay, they will feel a bit comfortable here. But those who are seeing first time such kind of thing, then it may be scary at first moment. So let's try to understand that how this thing works here. Okay, the first thing here is you can customize the appearance here. For example, which kind of compiler you want, and then you can have the Tech Live version. Okay, there are a lot more options here starting from 2014. Similarly, main document, that is your the file on which you are working, and spell check. There are several options to check your spellings, auto completion of some of the commands, then auto close brackets. Similarly, code checking, if there is some error in your code, then it will get reflected in your logs, that is called error logs. Then editor theme, I'm using terminal, but if you want, you can use something different like G80. So this is your new theme. Similarly, overall theme, either you want default or light. Key bindings, those who are using such text editors, they can tinker with Vim or Emacs. But if you are not knowing about this thing, then simply keep it in none position. Then font size, you can customize as per your requirement. Font family, also there are two choices here. Then PDF viewer built-in or maybe native. Native means whatever the PDF viewer installed in your system, in your computer, okay, that will be used to see the PDF. So these are the things that you can see on the left hand side. And next is show hotkeys. So whenever you click on it, you will see some of the shortcut commands here that you can use while working with Overleaf. Okay, of course it's not exhaustive, they are limited, but still you can at least use these all shortcut keys while working with your document. For example, you can navigate your document by using Control plus Home key. Similarly, Control plus N, that will give you the end of the document. If you want to go with particular line, then you can use Control plus L, and similarly other commands. Okay, so let me ask here that up to this, anyone has any doubt, any query? So far, whatever we have discussed, are you comfortable?
Yes, sir, you can continue, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. So now this was the basic about Overleaf that you can go with. And here on the right hand side portion, you can see the compilation part. Okay. You can recompile your document. Suppose you made some change here. For example, you are changing your name. And for example, if you want to enter some date as well, like this, then recompile will give you the new output. You can see here that on the right hand side, you have new PDF, okay, and which is having this new title as well. New title of my document, okay, and recompile it, and you can see here. Fine. So this was the basic about Overleaf. Coming to our presentation once again. So we were discussing this thing on the left hand side that was related to Overleaf. Now, next thing is those who have not used Overleaf and those who want to work with LaTeX locally, then there is a very good option that is called Text Studio along with MikTeX. Okay, so let me now explain that how you go with this. For example, when I click on MikTeX, I will see in my browser this screen. Okay. And here you have few options. You can just hover it. The first option is basic installer window for Windows. Okay, most of the people here or they might be using Windows. Okay, and few of you might be using Linux. So depending upon your, maybe if you are using MacBook, then also there is an option for Mac. So depending upon the operating system you are using, you have the option to choose MIGTEC. Okay, so in this case, usually what people do is they just go for this basic installer and then they start working upon LaTeX. There is no harm here, but I would suggest to go with complete download and then complete installation. The reason behind this is many of the packages on the go, if you want, then there will not be any need of separately adding those packages as and when it is required, unless you have limited space in your operating system, I mean in your computer. So if you have plenty of space, then definitely you should use it by going with this option. So I will click on all downloads and then we'll go with MIGTEC net installer 64-bit. Okay, so it consists of around 24 MB size and you should download this. Once you download this, it will try to download everything, almost all the packages which are available on the MIGTEC repository. Okay, and the size of this folder will be approximately 3.84 or 86 GB. So you can say approximately 4 GB. The full folder will be having the same name called MIGTEC. Okay, and then once you click on this installer, it will ask you to install from the downloaded package. I mean the folder. So you just need to correlate that thing. Okay, and once you do that, you will be in a position to install the full MIGTEC. I think I should demonstrate that thing as well. So let me show you. Okay, now you will be able to see my screen. So for example, if I'm going here, software, and here setup option is there. This setup 4.2 x64, it's for 64-bit operating system. And now you can see here, install MIGTEC, download MIGTEC. So first you need to download this thing. I already have downloaded, and hence I will go with install MIGTEC, then complete MIGTEC, then next, and install for, I mean, all users or maybe for you only. Now here, by default, the path will be this. If you have downloaded, and if it is there in your downloads folder, then this will be the folder. And if it is not there, and if you have located somewhere else, then just try to get it. For example, software and then MIGTEC. So this is the folder. Once you locate the folder path correctly, you will be in a position to go with next and next. Now here I have got an error because I already have installed. But in your case, once you are doing first time, at that time there won't be any error, and click next and next, and you will have full installation. Of course, this installation will also take some time, but once you finish that installation, you will be having that pop-up that MIGTEC installation is completed, and then the second step is you need to go with Tech Studio. Okay, so why I recommended Tech Studio 3.12 instead of the latest version 4? The reason behind this is there are certain glitches in the application, yet they are just telling that this is the stable version, but I found some glitches, and that's the reason that I moved towards the second last version. So this is the version that we can install. Once you click on it, you will have the pop-up and then the starting process, and then again click next and then install, and you will have full installation of Tech Studio. So this is the primary procedure that you need to follow while going with offline mode. Okay, and once you finish this, you will be in a position to use your LaTeX very easily. Okay, so coming to our presentation once again. So we were here. Okay, so now we did this both the things. Okay, online as well as offline. Okay, So this is the standard thing that we have done so far to use LaTeX appropriately, okay, with basic knowledge. So once if somebody tries to find, I mean, if he decides that he wants to work with LaTeX, then these are the primary requirements, okay. And now, since we have installed this thing, you can see here the next slide, which I already presented towards you, that we can start with the, I mean, this is related to overleaf. We can start with the blank project. So I already mentioned this thing. Okay, now coming to the second part, that is offline mode. Here, if you want to go with Text Studio, then what are the steps? So let me show the steps as well. Okay, so you can see here the screen of Text Studio. So once you start with this, you can go here in File section and then New or New from Template. Since we are learning, we can start with this, and then you can proceed further. Okay, so for example, article, and here you have two options: create in editor or create in folder. So I would suggest here to go with folder, because on the go, when you are working with text file, you will have many more things which will be generated side by side, and those are called auxiliary files as well. So that's the reason that you, whenever you want to work with LaTeX, just go with the specific folder. Okay, and once you do that, you can create in some folder, and then if you just click on OK, you will get something like this. Right now, I'm not going with folder, but I'm just clicking on in editor. So here you will have this option as your first template for document. Okay, document class, article, and then some of the things which I have, I mean, which is already written in template, but I will explain after just few minutes. Okay, so this is the thing that once you open Text Studio, you will start with file and then new from template and choose whatever you want. Okay, there are several templates available, and then we can proceed further. Now, coming to the presentation. So, as I mentioned, you can see here the file, then new from template, and then article, for example, and then you can create in editor or folder. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, I already shown you this. We can select any template as per our requirement, and we can choose anyone, either of this, but normally folder is preferable. Okay, now this one, on the left hand side you can see the code in overleaf, and on the right hand side you can see the code in Text Studio. Okay, here the color varies depending upon the theme you choose, as I told you earlier. So this was my theme, and I'm just choosing according to my requirement. So if I like dark mode, then I can use accordingly those things. And then now these are the things, these are the some of the lines that already you see once you create your first project. Okay, so now I'm just requesting to the audience, to all the users, that you up to this, you just try to create this thing and try to check whether you have obtained all these things or not. Okay. Yes, one participant has some question. Follow me, ma'am.
I'll unmute you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, means there is the text editor, and on the right hand side of the text editor, the preview must come. But I am not getting the preview pane over there. Means the preview is coming, I think it is coming in the bottom. Is it all right?
Yes, yes, it is all right. Are you using different text editor or text studio only?
No. I'm using Text Studio, the one which you had asked, you have shown just
Okay,
now. I have
fine.
using that. Means the
Fine.
preview is not coming. The preview of the output is not coming on the right. It is coming in the bottom, in below the editor.
Fine, ma'am. Well, that is actually, it depends upon the preview pane that you are putting. Okay, so if you go with restore default settings, then you will be having preview on the right hand side.
Sir,
Just-
where is it? Can you
just a
just
minute.
show on the top in the toolbar?
Sure. Just a minute. Okay. Here, can you see options in Text
Yes, sir.
Studio?
Yes.
Here, restore default settings.
So it's telling
Mhm.
close it.
Document
That
that you
means
are working upon.
yes. So I will close and start again.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So you would like to take the questions at the last, or you would like to go along with the questions?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. It's coming now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's
Fine.
coming now.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, one more question from Kishore bhai.
So the thing is that I have started up with mixed stack,
Okay.
and in that it is showing one aspect, that is console,
Yeah, fine.
and another is text works new, mixed reality
Yes.
portal and novel. So from which I have to start up with
Okay, just
the
a minute.
console.
I got your idea. Just a minute. Okay, so now you are talking about this thing, MikTeX console. You are seeing my screen, right?
Right.
Okay. So once I click on MikTeX console, this will be the thing that will be popping up.
That
First-
already I have done, sir.
Yes, fine. So first thing is you need to check here if there is any update, then you should update it. Okay.
Already updated, sir.
Fine. Okay, so the next thing is you don't need to pop up with console right now,
Okay.
and you just close this window and then go into the Text Studio application,
Okay.
and click on this Text Studio so that you will have this part.
Okay.
Okay, what is the difference behind this? The difference between these two is MikTeX basically gives you the LaTeX, text distribution. Text distribution in the sense that whatever the packages, whatever the macros which are required to handle or to produce such a document, that will be covered by MikTeX part. Okay, but Text Studio is just an added advantage. It's nothing but a text editor, but you can edit every text here, and on the back end, it will be using MikTeX, and with the support of MikTeX, it will be producing such nice documents and out.
Thank you,
That
sir.
is, yeah, so that this is the difference. Yeah, any more questions?
That's it, sir. You can continue.
Okay, so should I continue?
Yes, sir.
So I hope now you are again seeing my presentation.
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay, fine. So this is the thing that we came so far on the left hand side. So if you are going with overlays, you will be seeing the left hand side section, and if you are in Text Studio, then going with new from template and article, and you will be seeing such kind of thing which is on the right hand side part. Okay, now okay, now we will see how to compile on both the platforms, right? So let's see. So as I have shown you earlier that if you want to compile your document, then there is a recompile button in overlay. Okay, so whenever you make some change over left hand side, you will be having those changes on the right hand side. Okay, and on the go you can see these changes. That is the first thing. The second thing here, you observe these two arrows. Basically, this will be helpful when you are working with large document. Okay, so it's not only for 15 or 20 lines, but for example, your document consists of 500 lines or maybe 1000 lines. At that time, it's difficult to hover over the complete document, and at the same time, it is also difficult to pick the same line which you are working in PDF. Okay, so we have a very simple solution here. You just click over these arrows and you will be having the relative position in the respective area. So for right hand side arrow, you will be having that pointing towards the exact line to or the exact section to the PDF file. Okay, and similarly on the left with the left arrow, you will be having the respective coding on the left hand side. Okay, so you have a direct connection here. Okay, when you want to switch from coding to PDF and PDF to coding. Okay, so in either way, you will have a very good comfort to track your document with your exact line or words which you are working. Okay, and this is really useful in working with long projects. Okay, the next thing is in the section of Text Studio, when you are working with Text Studio, these are two arrow marks called green buttons. Okay, so the first one is a single green button, and the second one has a similar kind of thing like two green buttons. Okay, or you can say 1.5 green buttons. So what do these two buttons represent? The first button is compilation, compile with single green button, and there is a shortcut key here in Windows. It is F6. If you want to build and view your document, then double green button is there, and it is nothing but F5. So if you press F5, you will be having complete building of your document, and then you can view your document. Okay. So from the chat box, I just saw one question: which one is good, online or offline? Okay, as per my opinion, offline is much better because you have you have many flexibilities, and I will just show you that how it is better as compared to the online version. And both have plus and minus. The plus point of online is you can have always a backup of your file. Okay? For example, if suddenly your computer crashes and if you are working on a very important project and if you forgot to take backup of that project, then definitely you are in loss. You have lost all your work. But if you are working in online, say for example on Overleaf or other such platforms like Authoria, and at that time you don't need to worry about losing your project. Okay, it's completely in your hand. Second thing is you can add collaborators as well, so that simultaneously you can change the things. Okay, for example, your document, if I'm not alone working on my document, and if I want to be a part of some of the team, and collaboratively, if we want to work together, then online platform is much more easier. And the plus point here is you can also track the changes. So that is the plus point of online. Okay, now negative part of online editor is you have very limitations of shortcut keys. Okay, just I shown you I show you here that we have few commands. Okay, shortcut keys called hotkeys. So a very limited number of hotkeys are available for Overleaf, for example. But within few minutes, we will just see that how many shortcut commands can be there in Text Studio. Okay. In recent version, they have added more than 4,000 such options, including shortcut keys and some of the icons, some of the readily available commands, and so on. You can say that overall, I used many text editors, and out of those editors, I found two which are more, you can say most, influential to me. And out of those two, the first thing is Text Studio, and second is Kyle. Usually, people who are working with Linux, they are using Kyle and tech distribution called TechLive. Okay, and those who are working with Windows, they are going with Text Studio and MikTeX. So this is the combo that we are using. Okay. Yes. Any more questions? Fine. So let me show you the thing. Okay. So this is the thing. Now, the next thing is, what are the possible output formats when we are working with LaTeX? The first format is DVI, the second format is PS, and the third format is PDF. Now, many of the, laymen or the normal people, they might not be using DVI or PS frequently. Okay. All we have done our work so far was with PDF. Okay, we are familiar with PDF. Whenever we are working with Word document, and if you want to send your work to some other person but with non-editable form, then definitely you will be sending PDF. That is one thing. Another advantage is the full form of PDF is portable document format. So advantage is you can plug in anywhere in the world and in any system, just you require PDF reader, nothing else. Okay, and your document will be completely written over there. But if you have worked with, say for example, Word document with some good specifications, some high level font, something like that, then in some other system, if you open your document, then definitely it's not in workable form. The reason behind this is because that those fonts are not installed in other system. And it's really a challenge for us that if you want to work with that system, then you need to first of all set up the thing, you need to install the required fonts, and then you can move further. Second thing is, for example, you have made your document in some other Word format. Say for example, you are using latest 2019, and if you are going with to work with some older system, like the system has only 2003 version, Office 2003 or 7, and if some of the features which are not available in 2007, but if they have added that feature later on, say in 2019 version or maybe some other version, then definitely you have some problematic situation here, because you cannot use the same feature in the older versions. So these are some limitations, and to avoid such kind of limitations at any level, people invented PDF. Okay, so that is the advantage. Okay, but what about these other things, DVI and PS? So let me show you. In simple language, DVI means device independent file format. Okay, device independent file format. This consists of binary data only, purely binary data, and that binary data, it has some visual layout which gives you the actual document that you want to see. So in normally, if you see this DVI part or DVI document in your machine, and if it is compatible or if you have DVI viewer, then you will not find any difference here. I mean, you cannot see that, oh, these are the binary numbers, and then you are seeing that these binary numbers together gives me this document. Okay, so it's completely the backend option, but ultimately you will be seeing your document in a nice form. And obviously, this is a very limited thing. For example, if some of the system has not installed this DVI viewer or maybe PostScript viewer, then it will be a bit difficult for us to go with those formats. Okay. The second thing is PostScript file format, that is PS. Okay, this describes text and graphics on page, and it is based on vector graphics. Now, vector graphics is such a huge thing that if you want to produce a high quality document, where even if you zoom, for example, 500% or 600%, then still you will be having the same kind of quality of your text, whatever you have written. So that is an advantage of PostScript files. And obviously it's used in desktop publishing areas. Okay, but still, if you don't want to go or tinker with such kind of options, then definitely the readily available simple option is go with portable document format, that is PDF. So obviously there is no need to describe here that what is the compatibility of PDF files. Okay, so this is an advantage that once you start with LaTeX, you immediately have the output in terms of any of the required formats. Now, if somebody is interested in working with terminal, for example, the next level thing, if you just want to work with terminal and if you want to work with text document and then want output, then this is the command. Okay. For example, for DVI output, you just need to write in your terminal like LaTeX and then your document name dot text. So my document.text, that is nothing but with LaTeX command, with input of LaTeX command, it will generate the DVI document. And if you want to work with PDF output, if you want to get PDF output, then PDF LaTeX, then my document.text. I mean the same document which you are working upon with these commands. So these are basically the hands-on commands when if someone is interested to work with in terminals. Okay, so without even GUI, it is possible to go with LaTeX. Okay, and the next thing is, now let's try to understand a simple, I mean, few fundamental things in technical side. So why this compilation thing happens, or what is the flow that, I mean, of flow of this LaTeX compilation. So this is the flow. Once you have LaTeX file, that is .text file, so already we have seen this text file in our overlay for Text Studio as a template. So once you have that LaTeX file, you have two options. Okay, so one is this one, LaTeX, or another is PDF LaTeX, as I mentioned in my previous slide. This one, LaTeX my document.text, and PDF LaTeX my document.text. So once you have these both ways, by using the first option, LaTeX, you will have an option of DVI file. Okay, so DVI file will be created, and with the second option, you have PDF file created. PDF file is, you can directly use it. You can observe the file, the output of the file, and also you can directly take printout. Okay, so it's a straightforward one-way process. Okay, you just process your LaTeX file and get the PDF out. Okay, now the other approach is, if you are going with DVI, then there are two ways to go with multiple files. The first way is, you can have DVI PS converter, which converts basically your DVI file to PostScript file, and then you can directly use PostScript file with some of the famous viewers. And the second thing is, you can in fact create your PostScript to PDF. So you reach up to PDF and then you can use it. I mean, the end user will see the PDF. Okay, so that is the thing. Or else, if you don't want to go with PS file, then directly you can convert DVI to PDF by this command, DVI PDF MX. I mean, this is the editor part. So DVI PDF MX will give you the PDF out. This is just the basic idea that how LaTeX works. Okay, how this compilation flow works. Basically, as a normal person, if you want to use LaTeX, then you don't need these two things, and you can directly use LaTeX to PDF. Okay, so normally, even if you see in your Text Studio, there will be an option. I mean, as a compiler, there will be an option for building your document, and that part will be taken care of by this PDF LaTeX. Okay, so this is the thing that I wanted to show you. Now, there are various compilers available in market, and it's really a burning question that which compiler should I choose here. Okay, compilation is the different thing. Yes, compilation is there, and we have understood, studied the flow of those compilation. But when it comes to compiler, then there are few choices here, and we need to, I mean, understand fundamentally, so that you can go with appropriate option. Okay, any doubts so far? Okay, so
There's one question in the chat box.
yes, fine. So, so these are the options. There are various compilers available. The first option is LaTeX, of course, I mentioned you here in my earlier slide. Similarly, the second one is PDF LaTeX. The third option is ZLaTeX, and fourth is Lua LaTeX. Now, these are the compilers that you can go with. Of course, now you have studied a bit about this thing. When I go with my LaTeX compiler, it will give me the output as DVI. Okay, and the second option, that is PDF LaTeX, will give me the output in the form direct PDF. Okay, now what about these third and fourth options? Okay, so in simple language, let me just give you one hint that compiler number 3 and 4, okay, they will be having some special property. Okay, these 3 and 4 number compilers, they are really useful when you work with special kind of fonts. For example, I want to use Kannada language or maybe some other Indian language or maybe some foreign language with some different accents. At that time, these two compilers will be useful to you. I will just show you after few slides. So the first thing, LaTeX compiler, it supports only EPS and PS image formats. Now, what is EPS? Those who are in research field or if they just started their research career, then this format is really important. It is called encapsulated PostScript format. The output of this, I mean EPS, is in such a way that it really gives you an amazing performance while dealing with images. Okay, so EPS is very important, and once you generate EPS, for example, if you use Mathematica as your work profile and working software, then you can create or export your image to EPS directly. Or if you have PostScript images in your project, then you can always go with LaTeX compiler. Okay, but now if you don't have those options, but if you have readily available options like PNG, then JPG and PDF images. Okay, if you have these things, yes, of course, PDF is image here. Okay, for example, if you have some graph and if you are taking the output of that graph in terms of PDF, then definitely it will be treated as image and it will be the part of your original or main document. Okay, so PNG and JPG or PDF or these image formats are of course supported by PDF LaTeX compiler. Okay, so PDF LaTeX compiler is the reason that it is widely used as compared to the other compiler platforms. Okay, and moreover, if you have EPS as well, and still if you don't want to leave your PDF LaTeX compiler environment, then you are good to go. You just need to have you want to add some package here which converts your EPS to PDF. Okay, and what it will do is it will basically convert your EPS to PDF when you click on compilation button. Okay, so it will on the fly during compilation it will convert EPS to PDF, and once it is PDF, it will be directly absorbed with the PDF LaTeX compilation thing, and it will generate the desired document. Okay, so this was about the second part, and as I told you, these two platforms are ZLaTeX and LuaLaTeX. These are very good while working with UTF-8 or Unicode characters or TrueType or OpenType fonts. Okay, so once just keep in mind that if you want some different font which are not available in normal LaTeXing when you are working on some document, and if you are getting some error, okay, so in that case you just think that you need to switch your compiling platform. Okay, and at that time you need to use with either ZLaTeX or LuaLaTeX platform. So once you use this, you will be in a position to use any kind of accent or maybe any Indic languages and so on. Okay, so and one noticeable difference between this is ZLaTeX support PS tricks, whereas the other doesn't. So even if you say that which is the most powerful platform working with different type of fonts, then obviously ZLaTeX is the answer. Okay, now for newbies here, what is PS tricks package? So PS tricks package is nothing but a collection of macros where your drawing becomes easy. Okay, because we don't always have a plain document. Okay, we don't have always only just few number of lines, but in your document as a whole, if you see, it may consist of images, it may consist of some drawings, and it may consist of some tables, something like that. So obviously these all books that you are reading, it consists of beautiful figures as well as some drawings, okay, exceptionally good drawings. So that can be handled with one of the packages called PS Tricks. Okay, and next thing, and that is very important, is when you want to work with referencing, okay, that is called cross references. In short, when you are, say for example, reading some paper, that in research paper you will be seeing that some citation style is there. Okay, like some author and author has mentioned this thing. So you are seeing some citation, some style. If you want to get those kind of patterns in your document as well, you need to compile your document twice. Yes, you need to compile your document twice. Okay, and there is a good reason here that why you need to go with this, because once you compile your document, it will just collect the raw information from the thing that you have provided in your coding. Okay, and after first compilation, it will go with the sorting part. Okay, so first it will collect those things, and that collection will be stored in the auxiliary files called .aux. Okay, after a few minutes, I will show you that detail as well. So that auxiliary file, which consists of informations about this different numbering and all, and with the second compilation, once you do that, you will have appropriately ordered references. For example, equation 1, then equation 2, and then equation 3. If you change the order of this equation, for example, equation 3 is now in place of equation 1. You don't need to tell LaTeX that now please change the number. Okay, you just simply compile twice and automatically those numbers will get reversed. This is the magic of LaTeX. Okay, in Word, if you are working with the citations, references, equation numbers, then it will be very tedious to do so. Okay, even if you want to use some simple things, then those who are, good at referencing in normal Word file, they might have seen that you have to go with the upper toolbar and then you need to tinker with those things so that you will get sequential references, or maybe your equation numbers. Okay, they shouldn't get changed and everything. You need to stay tuned with your document line by line, so that you can avoid any error in your Word file. But in the case of LaTeX, this is not the thing. Okay, you can just focus on your content, and rest of the things like these equation numbers and then citations and sequencing of citations, everything can be taken care of easily. Even if you have by chance or by mistake you have added some of the citations or references which is not a part of your document, then definitely LaTeX will warn you, but it will process the document without those kind of problematic situation. Okay, so definitely there will be no role of references. For example, in Word, if my whole document consists of 40 different references, but by mistake I have listed 50 references, okay, then it's difficult to track whether one of the references used here or not. But in the case of LaTeX, you can in fact cross check it. And another important thing is you can click on the link to redirect to the connected one. For example, if you are reading some document, and for example on page number 3, you are interested in reading that reference. So what you do is you first of all go and find that reference number. Okay, suppose reference number is 57. Then you need to go with the full list and then track. You need to try or track that 57 number reference, and then you come back to your original position of the cursor where you are reading that document, and then you proceed further. So it's a bit cumbersome thing. But if you are doing with LaTeX, and if you have used some of the packages called hyperref packages, at that time you can simply click it and it will directly pointing towards the desired document, the 57 number reference. And in fact, there is an option to go back to the actual position of the cursor. Okay, a few coding is required, but once you do that, or once you have used at least once, then definitely you have readily available reference in your life. Okay, whenever it is required, you can go with that setup. So this is the thing about compiler part. Now coming to the main part, doing LaTeX. Okay, so let's see that how we can go with actual LaTeX and documenting our work. So just like our body is formed by bones, LaTeX has also structure which gives the complete shape of our document. Okay, you can see here that this is the basic thing. These are called bare bones, and on the bare bone structure, okay, if you add your tissues and everything, and then you will see a complete human. Okay, and on that human you will have some more decoration. In the same way, LaTeX performs. Okay, this we will understand here the bare bone structure. On the basis of that, you can have beautiful presentations, beautiful documents. Okay, because these all things, the later things, they are just decorations. Okay, so let's see that how we can go further. The fundamental structure of our LaTeX document is you can choose any article type or any other document type, which we have seen in even Text Studio as well. There are two things that you should keep in mind. The first thing is you should use proper packages and macros as and when it is required. Okay, so if you forget packages, required package is not available, then definitely you will come across error. Okay, you will see some error, which is which can be solved only when you add that package. Okay? Otherwise, you need to go with some different route. So that is one thing. So in simple language, you can say that these packages are nothing but gate pass. Okay, gate pass to enter into that particular environment. Okay, that campus. The second thing is you need to compile your document frequently to capture the error point. Means, for example, I started working upon the document and without even compiling, I just typed 3 or 5 or maybe 110 pages, something like that. Okay, because I know what is the thing and how do I write those documents. Or for example, even if it is a simple line by line thing, but still, I don't recommend to write everything in one go. Just write few lines and by using few commands, and then you need to compile that document again and again. Okay, so for example, if I am writing some specific research paper, and if I am using sections and subsections and all, and if I'm writing something, some tabular form is also available, and if I have by chance made some mistake there, okay, I just saw many people, around 80% of the people, they don't understand basically which kind of error is this. But once they see warning, once they see some red lines in your compilation thing and your error line, at that time they get frustrated. Oh, I got the error and I can't go with LaTeX because it's really troublesome for me. Okay, every time I write something and I'm getting error. Okay, so don't react like that. Okay, instead try to read the lines. Okay, try to read the meaning of that particular error. So once you try to understand this thing, after a couple of months, you will be in a position that you will be getting habituation of this. Okay, you will be, totally comfortable. Fine, there is an error, fine, but I can resolve it. I am now understanding the meaning of this error. Okay, so here, once you do this, okay, it will really improve your LaTeX documenting capability. Okay, I must say, because say for example, I'm writing 3-4 lines and it compiles successfully, but few more lines when I'm adding, I'm getting some error. It directly pointing me that the last 4 lines which I have added, they consist of some error. Okay, definitely that is the reason that my document is not compiled yet. Okay, otherwise my document is always getting compiled successfully. So this will basically save your time. Okay, otherwise what happens there, to locate that error, it's really difficult. Sometimes even I found that when I'm working with the complete document of maybe 400-500 lines, and a minor mistake will give me a very troublesome error. Okay, I cannot directly see the output of that document. The reason behind this is that I might have used some dots or maybe some commas which are incompatible in that environment. Okay, so even if you forget this thing, or even if you do such kind of mistakes, okay, whenever it is not required, and if you are putting that thing, then definitely sometimes the compiler don't see that where to stop, so it directly immediately goes into the infinite loop, and it comes to the end of the document, and you will get that error. Okay, that I find no reason where to stop, and hence I reach to the end, something like that. Okay, so such kind of errors you can avoid by just keep in mind that you have to compile your document regularly. Okay, now let's see that how to go with here, and now parallelly you can practice with me here. Those who are working with Text Studio, they can open the Text Studio, and those who are working with Overleaf, they can go with Overleaf. So the first thing is, let's understand the skeleton of LaTeX document. Okay, and this is primary thing. Okay, the first and foremost thing is you need to get accustomed with these fundamental commands. So the first one is your declaration of document class. Okay, this is very important thing. Okay, because based upon that, the whole structure of the document will be laid out. Okay, and hence you need to use appropriate document class for the document. So normally we start with either report or maybe article. Okay, so our first document coming from that template, we started with article. That's fine. So that is important thing. Okay, so document class article. Okay, so once you write this in your normal or plain LaTeX document, this should be the first line of your LaTeX document when you start. Okay, so I would suggest to just go with this. Since already you have template, you don't need to write once again. Okay, you can just use it, but try to understand that how we try to create our own document. Okay, because it's not that always you just start with the template and then complete your document. Okay, sometimes it is very important and in fact crucial too to understand the basic terminologies as a part of the LaTeX typesetting. So the first thing is document class. The second point here is declare required packages and macros. Okay, now this is very important thing because once you declare the document class, okay, it won't give you the all informations which you require. Okay, it gives you the standard and basic structure, but apart from this, you need to add some more things to add flavors in your document. Okay, so this is the thing. The first thing is you can use the English package, which basically helps you in using some special characters, and it automatically translates some elements within the document, okay, which you don't require. For example, when I want to have some hyphen or when I want to use the minus sign, okay, so it will automatically check that in which context you are talking about. Okay, and that's the reason that we are using this option normally. Okay, so there is no strict compulsion. Please keep in mind that when we are using these packages, there is no compulsion that you need to use each and every package, whatever you come across. Okay, and one more thing which I really suggest to even my students and whatever, I mean, every person who is working in LaTeX, my humble suggestion is you don't blindly follow any template. For example, if I am having a very good template of some presentation or maybe some document, then it may happen that for that particular template, they require many more packages, and that those packages will have, kind of box structure. Okay, line by line, and there are so many packages which are used in that document. So what happens basically, I will be getting confused later on. Okay, because sometimes what happens that whatever the output which I want, that might be different from the desired one. The reason behind this is I'm using, by knowingly or unknowingly, some of the packages which is not required for me, and that is the reason that try to understand the role of each package. At least few fundamental packages are there which you can understand. Okay, so it's not like that you should learn each and every packages, because there are thousands of packages and macros available in LaTeX. In fact, you can design your own macros. So in this way, you can say that you have infinitely many choices. Okay, so no one can remember all the packages at the same time, or maybe macros. But the thing is, try to go with minimal number of packages. Okay, as minimum as you can. Once you do that, you will have a complete control over your document. Okay, because you do understand that which package will go towards which kind of output. Okay, and then you go ahead with other packages as well. So as and when it is required, you should try to include it. Okay, and in this way, gradually you will learn LaTeX in a very decent manner. Okay, so for example, here I have written some lines, and the first line already we discussed this. What about the second line? So basically this package is nothing but geometry package. geometry is not the normal geometry that we are referring to, like triangles and angles and something like that, but this geometry is nothing but the output of your document. I mean, the margin setup in simple language. Whenever you write some package, you need to go with backslash, use package, and then in curly bracket, the name of that package. This is the standard way to call any package. And what about this bracket? This square bracket basically gives you an additional option to package. I mean, in which direction you want to package. For example, here, your Babel package is there that supports your translation of some elements or maybe hyphenation, that is fine. But in English language, you want this thing, or in Spanish language, that depends upon you. So if you want to go with Spanish language, you just write here use package, then in square bracket Spanish, and then Babel. Okay, so in that way you can go ahead by using this package. Similarly, here in geometry, what kind of changes I want? So I can go with letter paper option, or maybe A4 option for UK EU standard size. And then this is the top margin. I mean, the space between the actual paper border and your documentation starting point. Similarly, the bottom part, bottom margin, the left margin and right margin, and then margin far width, which is, I mean, setting at some centimeters. Okay. Once you do this, you will be having the output in desired form. And okay, let me show you this thing with Text Studio. Okay, can you see my screen? Text Studio.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here I have already written this part, document class, and then use package. Okay, and this use package, letter paper, and then this. Okay, now you just observe the document. This is the document on the right hand side, and obviously this cursor is nothing but a magnifier. If I want to see this, I can always use it. So this is an advantage of Text Studio. Okay, you can focus on your content. You can see it where you have written what. Okay, you can in fact change this part as well. For example, I want the larger part for my editing part and the smaller one for my output. Then also you can see it, and at that time you can use this magnifier. Okay, this is an advantage of using Text Studio. Okay, the next thing is I was just showing you this package. Coming back to the normal part. So now you just observe this PDF first, and then I will make change over here, and you will see the relatively new change in the document. Okay, so just observe this document. Okay, now I am making some change. For example, top is equal to 1 centimeter, bottom is equal to 1 centimeter, then left is equal to also 1 centimeter, and right equal to 1 centimeter. You see the relative change in my document. You see, this margin is changed, and you can see that much more content is added here. I mean, with few number of lines, and the whole content gets widened because of this thing. Okay, so this is called geometry package. If I remove this package, then what will be my output? Now see, the output is, you got it? This is the difference. This is the power of geometry package. You understood? This introduction part and this and image went into the second page and so on. Okay, the whole thing squeezed because I haven't used or defined geometry package. But once I use it, I can have, I mean, altogether different scenario. Okay, so where I can squeeze the content, where I can use much more space in my document, so that with few number of pages I can accomplish my project. Second thing is, normally we people we have to work with some of the mathematical equations as well. Okay, so those who are working with this AMS Math, American Mathematical Society mathematical package, it's a standard one. Okay, usually people work with AMS Math. Apart from this, there are other packages as well, like AMS Sim, and also I mean symbols and on other options as well. but the standard one is AMS Math. So you can go with AMS Math, and this one is GraphicX. What is the purpose of GraphicX? That is, it handles your image size, okay, the scaling of your image. And AMS Math gives you the power of mathematics. You can use some more commands when you want to work with mathematical equation. The third thing is hyperref package. Okay, hyperref package is hyperreference. Hyperreference means when I click on this thing, see, for example, here, yeah, these are the URLs, okay, and these are clickable. Okay, so these URLs, or maybe this table is nothing but hyperref. According to this hyperref, this citation is clickable, right? And once it is clickable, I can click on it and directly I will go to the table. Okay, so this table, basically they have made these tables to the browser part, but I want to just show you that even in document you can correlate this thing. Okay, for example, this table, when you are citing your table from the document, it directly refers to this one. Okay, that is the power of hyperref package. So these are the standard packages that you can include in your document. The next thing is title. You can give your title, author, that is your name. Date. If you don't write anything here, then by default it will take this date. You can see here, September 28, 2021. But if you want to write some specific date, then this is the command, \date 29th September 2021. Now the date will be changed. See, 29th September 2021. Got it? So this is the date. Then your first line will be there, begin document and make title. Okay, by default, begin document, make title should be there. And why I'm writing make title? Because if I am commenting this thing, now you see the output. See, my whole title is missing. Okay, you is missing, your paper is missing, date is missing. Okay, so everything is missed here. And that is the reason that I have, this is my mistake, that I haven't used make title. So make title gives you the basically the starting part, okay, the actual title or the heading of your document, which which will be used by this make title part. Next is if I want to go with research paper, then it is obviously begin abstract and end abstract. Okay, and here you need to, whatever you want to write, that you can write, and you can see here the font size. Observe this. Okay, the normal text is different, but the abstract text is different. Okay, it will be having tiny size, and this is the reason that we are working with templates, LaTeX templates, basically article, document class article. Okay, this suggests you that you should write your title in some manner, your abstract in different manner, your date in the third way, and your introduction and other things in some other way. So each and everything, we don't have that much time that you should learn each and everything, but the template and some of the packages, this will give you an added advantage to work with this standardization, right? And now you go with further options like this begin abstract and end abstract. Those who are even working with overleaf, they can use the same commands in writing your document, begin abstract and end abstract. And then about these sections. Okay, so we will go one by one. Just a minute, I am sharing my presentation once again. Okay, so this was the thing that I needed to emphasize while working with the document. Okay. Okay, so now the title of the document. Title of the document already we have written. Similarly, author, then affiliation. Okay, now this is important thing, affiliation part. Let me emphasize the thing. There is a command called affil. Okay, but this command will not directly work in your document. You just check it and you will find an error. Okay, I'm giving you 1 minute time. You just enter this command in your text studio or overleaf, and then you will find some error. You can see here in my screen. For example, see, Text Studio has an advantage that if you are writing some command which is not a part of your packages or the document class, then it will directly show you an error. Like here, you can see that I'm seeing this error pop up, that this command will definitely give me an error. So if I try to run this document, I see that whatever the text I have written, that is only I am seeing here as a part. And then the whole document will go in the next page. Okay, so this is something absurd. Okay, and what is the interpretation that in the first page, the whole first page, it consists of only 1 or 2 words. Okay, the reason behind this is, yeah, and you can see here the error as well. Undefined control sequence or missing begin document. See, basically compiler didn't understand your input, and that's how you got the error. So just remember, before few minutes I told you that whenever you are making some change towards your document, at a frequent interval you need to compile your document so that you can understand that, okay, whatever the changes I have made in last few minutes, that is giving me an error, okay, not the whole document. So here I found that I missed the package this. So whenever I use the required package author bulk, so this package along with this FL, now it gives me an output. You see here that now my institution is there, okay, IIT Bombay, for example. So with this, you can add your institutions, okay, the authors and institutions. So this is the part that you need to understand. Okay, and coming back to presentation. So in this way, we can have an affiliation part. The next thing is date. I already mentioned this thing. So if you leave blank, I mean, if you don't write anything, then the today's date will be written on the document. And if you want some specific date, then you need to write in \date and then in curly bracket your desired date. Abstract already we discussed, okay. Then section. Now you see your document comes into picture in real sense, okay. Now one by one step we already stepped ahead, and then now we are already in a position to actually representing our document, okay. So the first thing is, whenever you start with some document, you start with the introduction part. So it has some specific command called section introduction. So section introduction, once you write this in your document, you will have the title called introduction, okay. So with Text Studio, you can see this here. This is my first introduction part, okay, first section. Okay, the plus point here is when I'm working with LaTeX, I don't need to take care of numberings. You see, even without knowledge of mine, you can see here that section introduction, okay. I'm not having any knowledge that which number is this, okay, for this section, but it automatically gets settled down when I'm working with this command. So LaTeX will introduce these numbers. So for example, section introduction, and I'm again writing here section introduction. For example, in my mind, I have written here 3. So what happens basically, it will automatically create the respective section number. You just see here on the right hand side, though I have written introduction 3, but it is introduction 3, but it is section number 2. So this has been introduced by LaTeX itself, okay. So the typesetting system will take care of these numbering. So even if you are making some mistake, and it's not only for numbering sections, but even if you are working with equations, numbering equations, okay, LaTeX will surely help you, okay. It will take care of all these numbers by default, and hence this will be an advantage of working with LaTeX. So that is the reason that we are working with sections, okay. One more thing, once you complete section, you can have provision of subsections as well. You see here that let me remove this section, And okay, so once I have written these two paragraphs, and then I can make this comment. Now this, you see here, this another command called subsection. How to create sections and subsequence is the title. Subsections is the title. So you can see here that one introduction. This was my primary section, and then 1.1. That is, I am now working with subsection with the heading introduction. So 1.1. Okay, how to create sections. Similarly, subsection, how to include figures. So another subsection, how to include figures. Got it? So this is the way to add sections and subsections in your document. Okay. Subsection, and next is figures. Okay. So how do we include figures? First of all, please make sure that whatever the figure you want to include in your document, it should be there in your document itself. I mean the folder itself. Okay. So if the figure is not present in the folder, and if you try to locate that thing, then you need to add appropriate path. And it might be, I mean, cumbersome for some of the people that who are not accustomed with that kind of things, like who are not using regularly those terminal things, and I mean, copying path of that directory or the file, something like that. So it is easy to work with figures if you are putting your figures into the same folder. Okay, the folder in which you are working. Okay, and let me show you how. I'm just sharing the folder. I mean the screen where you can see the folder. See, this is my folder, for example, or this is my folder. Now in this folder, you can see there are some of the files. Okay, and these files, for example, you can just ignore this aux file, this bbl file, this plg file, log file, out file. In fact, PDF also you can ignore. Okay, so the important files, yeah, in fact, syntax also there. Okay, I will just give you a hint that what does this syntax means. But these files are no longer used by you directly. Okay, it will be used by typesetting system. But the important document for you is this one, this main.text document, and this JPG file which I am going to use it here. Okay, so this image should be there in your folder, working directory, and then your main text file. And if you want to use some referencing, then that bib file should also be there. Okay, so coming back to this point once again in our presentation. Okay, so here now I want to include this figure named frog.jpg. So I need to go with these commands. Okay, begin figure and centering. Now please keep in mind that centering will help you in aligning everything centrally. Okay, I mean at the center of your document, it will place the object. For example, if you want to place your figure, then it will be in the center of the document. Okay, it will look nice if you have that centering part. So in fact, you can avoid this part as well, but then it will have some different alignment. Okay, it may be having some left position or maybe in right position. So centering has that purpose. Next is include graphics command with backslash, and then in bracket you can have scaling of the figure, and then the name of the figure with curly bracket. Now this scaling can be made in many ways, like width is equal to, for example, here I have written 0.3 oblique text width, or you can say width is equal to 5 centimeter, height is equal to 4 centimeter. Okay, or maybe you can simply write down scale is equal to 1.5. Okay, so in this way you can have the size of the image that you want to include in the document. You can have that control, and once you do that, the next part is caption of the figure. Okay, so you can in fact give the label to this, because if you want to refer the same figure in later part of your document, then you must have some labeling. Okay, so you, by using this label, you can refer the same figure later on as well. So with this caption, I have given the name caption, this frog is from America. Okay, so this is the title beneath the figure. Okay, you will see that at the bottom part the title of this figure. That is called caption, and then end figure. Okay, so let us see this in Text Studio. See, now this is the figure file, and here I'm just changing this caption so that you can check it. This frog is from America. Okay, so this is the caption that I have written, and this is the width and text width. And you can see here that once the compilation finishes, the output will be changed. This frog is from America, and you can see here the figure 1. One more thing, you don't need to remember the figure number as well. That will be taken care of by LaTeX itself. Okay, so figure 1 is by default comes into picture, and whenever you want to refer this thing, you just need to refer frog. Okay, so for example, this reference, instead of this, if I'm referring this frog, okay, this one, then this will be given by the figure number. I mean the figures reference. Okay, figure 1. So if this is figure frog, then this results into frog. So this will give me the citation and reference of that particular object, and this is the figure environment. Okay, so begin figure, end figure, in between you can put centering, and then include graphics. One more thing, when you are working with either overlay for Text Studio, you have the facility of drag and drop. You can directly drag the figure and it will automatically create this path. Okay, and in fact, instead of that, you can go with here as well. Like here, see, you are having those all things readily available here as a part of your reference. Okay, so if you want to use here some particular environment, it is already readily available in your Text Studio. Okay, and that is the advantage, that if you want to work with different options, you can create those environments and use in your document. Okay, similarly, if you want to work with mathematics, you can have these commands readily available. Okay, there are several options. Now here, if I want to insert an image, then directly this insert graphic is an option from wizards. Click on it. Okay, locate your figure, for example this one. Okay, so it is already there, and now I can here in fact change this one, for example 0.7, and then center horizontally, place in figure environment, and caption below graphic or above graphic. Okay, and in fact I can change this labeling and caption as well. Okay, so now my thing will be changed. Okay, so it's already changed here, and yeah, so now you see the caption is above the figure. Okay, and the figure size is also changed because I have written width is equal to 0.7. Fine. So that is the thing. The next thing is table. Okay, now there are two options. The first thing is you can simply put down begin table, end table, and item and quantity, and say for example widgets and 42, something like that, which eventually give you an error because it has no formatting involved therein. But instead of this, if I'm writing like this, begin table, centering of course, and begin tabular environment, then end tabular and this thing. So you just remember the structure of figure. Okay, it will be exactly reflected in the case of tables, but with few minor tweaks. The first tweak is begin tabular with LC. Now what is this? Let me just make you introduction here. The L stands for left alignment, C stands for center aligned entries, and R stands for right aligned entries. And this vertical line gives you the vertical lines in the table. And then one more command is \H line. This is called horizontal line. Okay, it will draw the horizontal line of your entries. And when you go with this double line, it will give you line break, new line. Whenever I'm writing something, okay, it goes endlessly. But if I want to break that line, and with the next line, if I want to start, I'm going to use these 2 lines. Okay, so this will give me new line. So let us see the output of this code. Okay, this is the table. You can see here. Okay, on left hand side. Now begin table, centering, begin tabular, LC. Now just observe the change when instead of C I am writing R. You change this, you see the entry here. Got it? You see the right aligned entries instead of the center one. That is the purpose of this thing. Begin tabular, end tabular, and then this. Okay, and what is the role of this and ampersand command? This command will basically separate out your 2 entries. Okay, the first column, the second column, and similarly, if you want to add third column here, for example, this, I need to add line here as well to avoid any error. And similarly, need to include one more entry here like this. And now you see, I have created the third column as well. Got it? If I want to put the name, then I can do that as well. So item, quantity, and number. Now you see my table is changed. Okay. In fact, I can use the horizontal line here so that it will be now my title. So you see now the difference here. So this is my new table. Okay. And this is the output. So this is called a tabular environment. Okay. And now I won't take your much time. And the last thing is bullets and numbering. So bullets and numbering means if you want such kind of bullets, then you can use itemize, begin itemize and end itemize. If you want to have numbering kind of this thing, then you can use enumerate environment. Okay, so you may just note it down, begin itemize for normal bullets and begin enumerate and end enumerate for numbering bullets. Okay, so that is the thing. And the final part of your document, that is citations. Now, there are 2 ways for citations and referencing. Okay, the first thing is you can use the bibliography environment. The bibliography environment comes with 2 options. You can see here, I have written here 9. If you use numeric labels like 1, 2, 3, 4 for your references, and you can use, if you have less than 10 number of references, you can use 9. But if you don't know that how many number of references are you using, but maybe it's less than 100, then you can use 99. Okay, and if you want to go beyond that 100 number, then obviously you can use even in fact 999 and so on. Okay, now instead of this, if I'm writing like XYZ 12 or XYZ 13, then with abbrev style, it will give me the output. The output is like this. I will be writing in this manner. See, bib item. So instead of normal item, now bib item, bibliographic item. Okay, bib item with this. This is called label, and this is called citation key 1. So label is my pen 98, and this pen is the citation key. So whenever I want to use this reference in my document, I'll be writing like cite /cite in curly bracket pen, PAN. Okay, and then it will create relative reference in my final document. Okay, and rest of the thing is easy. You just give the author name, and then in hyphenation in quotes you are using the title of the research paper, and then whatever the journal or maybe the media you are referring to, you can add it here. Then its volume number and printed page and the place or maybe the year of publication, something like that. So this is, it depends upon the journal you are following. Okay, which kind of journal you want to communicate with. You can have readily available templates of citations. But this is a practical example that you can check with. The second option here is you can go with .bib file. See, I have sample .bib file. So you can use this .bib file. .bib has this structure. Okay, I'm just sending you this example template as well to work with, and you will be seeing this bibliography style. Okay, there are so many styles, and one of those styles is alpha. So with this sample, that is the file name of my .bib file, and alpha style, my output will be like this. You can see here, gray 93, then GOSD, green red, and so on. So this is the output that I will be seeing in my document. Okay, so let me share with you this template so that you can work with. Just a minute. So in chat box, I have sent, I don't know, okay, sent to everyone, just a minute. Okay, so I sent you everyone this example zip file. You just unzip it and keep working upon your document, and you will have a good idea that how to get a complete document, okay, like this text studio. Okay, so this is my output. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the output with the references as well. Okay, so these are sections, subsections, and then citations, tables, images. Okay, the whole body we have discussed today, and due to the limitation of the time, I'm not going into the details that how to in fact write some of the things. Okay, if time permits, we will see at some other point of time. So with this, I thank you very much for listening me. Haven't you received the file, Srinivas sir?
We've received the files, sir. I've downloaded it personally.
Fine, fine. Okay, so any more questions, anyone? With this, I conclude my session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful and informative session. I know this latex is a very huge ocean, and you're trying to put it into a very short time. We have very short time, and you try to nicely placed. And generally, we try to get these how to use latex for different articles or documents on in the internet. But then you have given us the background of what each one, what is the use of each file and all those things. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you
My
very
pleasure.
much. Yes. Shall we take a few questions, sir?
Yeah, any questions? I think
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Amit sir has some question.
Just give me a minute, sir. Okay, we have a few questions from the chat box, sir. I'll just read it out.
Okay.
From Sunita Pan, she asked, you were talking about DVI or PS formats, right? So do they change when we send mail from one system to another?
Pardon, sir, can you please repeat the question?
You were talking about the DVI and the PS formats.
Yes, yes,
so
sir.
she's asking whether do these change when we send an email from one system to another system?
No, they won't change. In fact, you can use any of the output you want. If you want to completely work with DVI, it's completely fine. You can go with DVI. Okay, it won't change the format.
Okay. Another question by Mukhtar Ahmad. Can we lock our PDF file or in LaTeX, or is there a separate software to lock PDF files?
I mean, lock, you mean password protected?
Yes, password protected.
Okay, I mean, there is no direct connection of LaTeX with PDF locking thing. Okay, you can manually do a password protection for your PDF, whatever you have created.
Okay. So we need to use another software for that.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Next question from Polami Banerjee. So the question is, does the second compilation that you're talking about the first and the second compilation.
Yes.
So the second compilation work on .aux file.
Yes.
So,
no, actually, I'm compiling my .text file only, but at the back end, it will be using aux file as the reference for the second cycle. Okay. So once you have compiled your document, okay, the basic information which LaTeX is gathering to create an output will be stored in aux file, but the second compilation will sort out that aux file in order to generate the sequential numbers. That is the idea for twice compilation.
Okay, sir. And she's asking the use of square brackets, lower brackets, and the percentage symbol that you are actually mentioning in the.
Okay. Percentage stands for commenting whatever you are writing, and if it's not a part of your document but just for your reference, you just comment those things. For example, if I'm adding some command and if I am sending the document to you, then I don't need to explain myself over phone or anything else, but directly I can write that the purpose of this command is this. So I can just make a comment over that command. That is the idea behind percentage sign. And what other sign you were talking about, sir?
A square bracket and the flower bracket.
Square bracket basically gives you a freedom to have some, particular environment. For example, use package English and then Babel. So English was in square bracket. Instead of English, if you can choose another languages as well, but the base package will be Babel. Okay. What is the purpose of Babel? Because it understands that where to hyphenate and where to put some minus sign or some other character. Like you have seen, some of the persons have some weird names, like some phi is also coming into their name, or maybe double accents, or maybe some other accents like French or maybe Spanish or some italics kind of thing. So at that time, we are not sure that which kind of accent this LaTeX should take, because we have limited keyboard. If you see in your keyboard on the left hand side part, you have numeric one, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, but before one, you have one tilde sign in your keyboard. But this tilde sign has different nature when you change your packages. So with Babel package, it may have different accents, and without Babel package, it will be having different accent. So normally, if you want to use, in fact, inverted comma, then in our Word file, we can use inverted comma with the key near the enter key. But it's not the case in LaTeX. In LaTeX, you need to use the first inverted comma with that tilde sign. Okay, there is some comma there over there also, and the right part will be near the enter key. So you need to use these two keys when you want to in fact go with quotes. So in this way, accents has different meaning, and that can be taken care of different packages. So that square bracket gives you a particular environment. So on the basis of Babel, you will be using English language, something like that.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. We have another question from Dr. Indu Tyagi. Two questions, in fact. The first one is how to make the toolbar visible.
Which one?
The toolbar visible. How to make the toolbar visible.
I mean, toolbar in Text Studio?
I think she's mentioning the software.
Okay, yeah. Text Studio is by default giving you toolbar, but if you want some specific toolbar, you can even customize those things. Okay, there are options, and then configure Text Studio. So go to the configure Text Studio, and in fact you can configure everything. Okay, if some of the things you don't want to see, you can remove it. Some of the things only you want to see in your screen, you can use it.
And one more question. This is, I think, in fact, many of the participants might have this question in their mind.
Okay.
She asks us, why is it better than the Word file?
Okay.
Why is LaTeX better than the Word file?
Okay. When you compare the things, the only advantage that you see here when working with LaTeX is the output quality. Okay. You cannot compare the output of Word and then create PDF, and then you simply created your LaTeX document and the output of that PDF with Word's output. Okay, you can clearly see the difference. That is first thing. The second thing is that when you start working, for example, some research projects or some publication kind of thing, at that time, the template, say for example, Word template, it's not sufficient for us to cope up with. For example, just before a few days, I was working with one of the templates of some conference proceeding. It was really terrible experience for me, because the people who have sent me, in fact, they made a wrong template. Okay, and there was no structurization. For example, in some moment they have defined the points, say for example the size of the font like 10, and after 2 or 3 pages the size was changed, and ultimately I have made no change, but still the template was faulty, and I got the problem. But here in LaTeX, this kind of things won't happen, because once you clearly mention your document class, then ultimately the whole document will nicely structurized based upon the requirement. Okay, so that is the thing that you can take care of. Of course, there are some pluses in Word files that you just open the Word file and start writing upon it. It's not like that. That in fact in LaTeX document you have the same kind of easiness. But yes, over the period of time, once you start working upon LaTeX and creating document, you will clearly see the difference between these two. Okay, for example, if I'm writing some book, and if it consists of, say, initially 300 pages, and then I amend some changes, and now it consists of 500 or 600 pages. Okay, at that time I don't need to bother about new references. I don't need to bother about new table numbers or figure numbers or respective any change. Okay, the whole change will be streamlined, just like you see that the whole document is written in one go. So that streamline you cannot see directly in Word files, because there are many glitches, and you every time you add some new references or some figures, at that time you need to check whether all the numbers are coming sequentially or not. And still, if you are feeling that you are, coming through all these things and you can resolve within no time, then definitely, there is no compulsion to use LaTeX. But yes, in fact, if you like the output of LaTeX, then definitely you should give a chance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your elaborate explanation on that. I think we have a question from the participants.
Yes.
Mr. Dr. Amit Kumar, he has raised his hand. Sir, could you unmute yourself and please ask your question?
Thank you, sir. It was a very wonderful session from your side. Sir, I just wanted to know one thing, that some of the journals provide the templates.
Yes.
And I was working with that template, but it was a terrible experience because the software which generally we downloaded from the sites that are freely downloadable do not work comfortably with those templates. So is it because of means what is the reason for that errors which we are getting?
I need to look to the document first. What you can do is you can on my screen you can see my email address. You just send me your template and I will have a look on it and I will revert to you. Can you see my email address?
No, sir, we are not able to see
Just
it.
a minute. Just a minute. Okay, now.
Yes, sir, we can see your email ID.
Okay, so just note down my email address, and I will be reverting back to you by seeing your template, whatever you are using. In fact, you can use my Telegram ID as well. And one thing I would like to, extend my sincere thanks to the whole Telegram group of LaTeX. Okay, so I'm just sending the link in chat box as well. Those who want to join Telegram, I will send to Daniel sir, and Daniel sir will pass on to the candidates, so that if you want to learn LaTeX seriously, and if you want to seriously learning more, want to learn more, then definitely you can join that group, and we will have a regular conversation over there.
Sure, sir, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Can we take some more questions from the chat box, sir?
Sure, sir.
We have another question from Polami Banerjee. Can we connect LaTeX to Mendeley?
Yes, yes. In fact, Mendeley will give you an output in terms of .beeb file, and that .beeb file will be directly, having as an input in our LaTeX file. Okay, so I just show you that example over here. In here, you see this sample is nothing but sample.beeb file, and this .beeb file will be the output of Mendeley. So you can directly export the references that you want to use from Mendeley and use directly in LaTeX.
Okay, sir. One more question from Mr. Sanat. Each journal has its own template. We
Yes.
have to prepare many times if the paper is rejected. So that's the question.
Okay, yeah. Here, let me share my experience with you. say for example, I'm using one template from Astrophysics and Space Science Journal, and say for example, I'm working in new paper and it is related with European Physical Journal C. Now the problem is when I've started working with two different journals, it's fine. But if my paper, say for example, gets rejected from one journal, and if I want to communicate to the other journal, and if the other journal is using different template, then I'll be having some problem. And that problem, let me just give you an idea that the overall structure or the body of the document won't change, but of course some tabular changes will be there. So you just refer to the new journals template, how they are using tables, how they are putting figures, and how they are using references. These three main categories are there for changing into new template. And one more thing, some journals, they are having their own specialties, like instead of this AFL, they are using inst /INST institution. Okay, so they are using inst command for inputting your university name. Okay, so at that time, you just need to keep in mind these 3-4 changes. Okay, so rest of the things will automatically be taken care of when you are using new template. So focus on this and amend these changes with some minor tweaks, and you will get your readily available new document with new template.
We have our last question, sir, from Mr. Dhananjay Rao. Two questions, in fact, from the same person. So the question is there any option to edit images in Text Studio?
Edit in
Text Studio.
Yes, we actually Text Studio is an editor. We are always editing the whole document in Text Studio. Am I getting your right question, or you want to tell something else?
Is there any option to edit images in the Text Studio?
Edit images? Oh,
yes,
fine.
Images.
Yeah. No, actually, image editor is something different. That of course you can have controlling over the size of the image, okay, and the position of the image in your document, that you can control from Text Studio.
Okay, sir. And another question from the same person: can we open PDF directly in Text Studio?
Of course, right hand side, whatever you have seen in my preview, that is already there. I mean, the PDF was already open. Okay, the live preview was there. So you can in fact use that PDF as your reference file, that this is your output. And another thing is that you can go to the specific folder and then open your PDF from there. So there are, I mean, 2 ways to see your PDF.
That's it, sir. All the questions are done. So we once again thank you so much for being a part of this faculty development program and
Welcome,
training all our participants on LaTeX software, which is very essential for, especially for researchers. It's a good tool for them. I personally have experienced this software, so I know the pros and cons of the software. So thank you, sir. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Daniel, sir. I'm heartily thanking to the whole management and especially to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.